Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be reading some Reddit stories from You Just Know Mail. And this is where people post about times someone tried to screw them over or get away with something that they shouldn't have. And you guys know the drill. If you want to share your own story of a time someone tried to screw you over, then use the link in the pinned comment below to submit your story to Just Know Mail. And if you enjoy these videos, then please leave a like and subscribe for more. But enough said, let's begin. First up, we have the title, My Professor Failed Me Because I Didn't Buy His 300 Textbook Bundle. So, a little context. I'm in my final year studying for a bachelor's degree. There are 2 subjects that I need to pass in order to graduate. I passed one of those subjects last week, and now I just need to pass my last subject. It's an elective subject, and it has a class test worth 40% and a final exam worth 60%. Last week, when the professor announced that I had passed the class test with a B, he also mentioned that there were 4 students who failed the test, and I was not one of them. So I thought I was in the clear. I went to check my grades online, and I saw that all 4 students who failed the test had missed one of the quizzes, which dropped their grade by a few points. Now I hadn't missed any quizzes, so I was pretty confident that I would pass the course. Now here comes the weird part. Our university doesn't require you to buy textbooks, but professors can recommend them. So at the start of semester, this professor recommended a bundle of 3 textbooks that cost around $300. When I say bundle, what I actually mean is that it was sold as a combined package where you couldn't buy individual books. Now I knew that the books were expensive, but I didn't think it was fair for a student to have to spend $300 on books to get a good grade in his class. So I decided not to buy the book bundle. Instead, I went to the library, and I found an older edition of one of the books. The librarian helped me find an online PDF version of another book, and I borrowed the 3rd book from the library. I did quite well on the assignments and the class tests, and I always participated in class, and I always handed in my work on time. So I was really surprised when I got an email saying that I failed the class. When I read the email, it said that I failed because I didn't have all 3 of the required textbooks, so I replied to the email asking him to clarify. He told me that I would fail unless I bought all 3 of the books and submitted the homework from each chapter in the book. I explained to him that he never told us that we had to buy the books in order to pass the class. And he told me that it was stated in the course outline. I checked the course outline, and sure enough I saw that it said that we needed all 3 of the books, but it wasn't very clear, and it was buried under a bunch of other text. Also, it said that the book list would be available from the bookstore, which it was, but it never specified that we had to buy the books. I asked the professor if I could do alternative assignments instead, and he said no. He said that I could either buy the books or fail the class. This is an elective class, so I don't really care about getting an A or a B or even a C. I just want to graduate. So I really don't understand why he's making me jump through these hoops. I'm pretty sure that what he's doing is illegal, right? Am I the asshole? I actually have to say, you are kind of the asshole here. Not in the sense that you absolutely should have followed the course rules, but come on, man, $300 for textbooks. No wonder you didn't buy it. That's insane. Now, I know a lot of college professors make a commission off of recommending certain textbooks, and they do it because they want to help out students. But this professor sounds like he's just trying to line his own pockets. Now, this story does get better for OP, though. They go on to say, since I didn't want to fail, I ended up buying the books and doing the homework. I finished all of the homework problems, and I submitted them with the assignment cover sheet that he provided. Then I submitted all of the assignments online. One of the assignments did not upload properly, so I emailed him the problem, and he marked it late. I resubmitted it again, and he marked it late again. After I had gotten my grade back, I sent him an email explaining that I had done all of the problems correctly, except for the 2 submissions that he marked late. He replied saying that he wouldn't change the grade, so I went to the department head and explained the situation. The department head spoke to the professor, and suddenly, all of the problems that I marked late were accepted, and I was given a 90 on those assignments. Turns out that the professor had forgotten to mark them until I complained to the head of the department. The head of the department told me that the professor had been marking the assignments as late because he was mad that I hadn't bought the books. I guess that he was trying to teach me a lesson about reading the course outline, but I think that he learned a lesson about not messing with people's grades. I got an A in the class and I'm graduating next week. Thanks, Op. You just got that professor fired. Next up we have the title, My Landlord Screwed Me Out of My Security Deposit. So I moved into an apartment last August. Everything was fine until March of this year, when the landlord stopped responding to maintenance requests. At the end of April, I put in a request to terminate my lease early due to a domestic violence protective order. On May, I received a letter stating that my request had been denied. The only reason I could get out of my lease without penalty was if the landlord found a suitable replacement tenant. I asked the landlord repeatedly if she had found a new tenant and if I was released from my lease. I didn't hear anything back from her until July, when she sent me a text saying that she was going to charge me rent through August. I asked her again if I had been replaced and she said yes. I told her that I was picking up my things on the 28th and that she needed to return my security deposit. She said that she would. On August, I went to the apartment and I picked up all of my stuff. The apartment was in the exact same condition as when I moved in, but she still took pictures. I texted her and asked her if she was going to send the check or if I should come by and pick it up. She replied that I should come pick it up. So I went to her house, but she refused to hand it over. She claimed that I had caused X amount of damage and that she was keeping my security deposit. I asked her to show me the clause in the lease stating that I was responsible for damages beyond normal wear and tear, but she refused to show it to me. She then tried to hand me a document that looked like a receipt. It had her signature and the date that I signed the lease, but it wasn't for the security deposit. I refused to sign it because I didn't know what it was. I then called the police. They ran my name and hers, then they asked her what the problem was. As soon as she started talking, they cut her off and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said yes, and I told them about the threats that she made to keep my security deposit. I also told them about the whole incident with the lease termination and the fact that I had a restraining order against my ex. The cops told her that she was in trouble. Then they escorted me to my car and told me to lock the doors and not come out until they came back and gave me the all clear. They drove me home, which was nice, but I was still freaked out. They said that they would be in touch. About 2 weeks later, I received a call from the police. They said that she was being charged with harassment. I told them that I wanted to press charges for attempted theft of property and breach of contract as well. They said that they would talk to the DA, and they would get back to me in a few days. About a week after that, I received a letter from the police saying that my case had been closed without action taken. Apparently the DA didn't think that I had enough evidence to prove the attempted theft or the breach of contract. So basically, the most that happened was that the landlord got a little bit of a scare, but I never got my money back. What can I do? Am I the asshole? Yeah. OP, you're kind of the asshole here. Look, I know this is a really frustrating situation, and I'm not saying that the landlord is in the right here, but you have no proof that this woman damaged the apartment. Like you said, you had a protective order against your ex. So isn't it possible that your ex may have done some damage while they were living with you? And also, if you were in a domestic violence situation, then why didn't you just tell your landlord that you were breaking your lease due to a domestic violence protective order? You didn't need to make up some fake story about a restraining order. Anyway, at the end of the day, Op, you have no proof that the landlord is lying about the damage, so you don't have a case. And that is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys want to see more short stories, then try clicking one of these videos right here. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.